It's nighttime, live below the line day 2. I didn't actually manage to get a video up for day 1, so this is gonna have to be about both days. Every morning I'm having a vegetable daliya. Daliya is an Indian word for porridge. I always thought porridge was made with rolled oats, and now I find out that it can kind of be made with just about any grain. Kibbled wheat is common in northern India. I'm using kibbled rye.
And eat it. So that's about how much onion I'm having for breakfast. Yay for me.
Onion's kind of precious to me because I only have 2 to last the whole week.
Of course I've managed to slightly burn my ingredients, but that's alright. It'll just maybe taste a bit smoky.
I don't have ingredients to waste. I added some carrot, water and kibbled rye.
That actually made more than I was expecting, but it does not look nearly as appetizing as it did when I made it with actual vegetables.
It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm at school. The school is actually closed down because of the amount of rain and flooding, but I'm here to study because I have 3 little kids at my house and I'm not going to get much work done if I was doing it at home. So, I woke up this morning ready to start my live below the line, have my bowl of daliya porridge, and there was no electricity. And I just thought, well, welcome to the third world. And just as I was thinking, oh, should I go out into the torrential rain and cook my porridge on a gas oven, or shall I just stay in here and have cold porridge with raw tomato? But then the power went back on, so I cooked it on the electric stove inside. I've been at school all day. I've not had lunch. I've been feeling pretty hungry. It doesn't really feel like the afternoon because I haven't had lunch. Something just doesn't feel right about it. I'm about to go home and that's going to be hard because I'm not going to have anything to eat for like another hour or so. I'm going to try really hard not to start cooking my dinner for at least like half an hour. The later I have it, the less time there is to get hungry again in the evening. Really looking forward to dinner though because it's gonna be Babenda from Burkina Faso cuisine, and it's the idea of it has gotten a lot more attractive the more hungry I've gotten.
These were planted from seed actually like a couple of years ago, and my parents don't eat them as much as I'd like to. I love silver beet. It's now the only green I can afford. Because they were planted 2 years ago from a packet of seed, and a packet of seed costs $3. We've had about 100 pickings off of it, or if we haven't, we could have had. They grow off of just the rainwater and the dirt that was already here. So I'm going to say it's 3 cents per a reasonably large picking.
Some people living in extreme poverty grow their own vegetables. It depends if they live in a rural area or in a city. In India, you're considered living in poverty, I think, if you have 50 rupees in a rural area, but 60 rupees if you're in a city area per person per day. By the way, that's about $1 New Zealand dollar, and I'm doing $2.25, so I really don't have a right to complain.
So long as I don't destroy any one plants, they will just keep growing, and there are even some that have grown off of these ones' seeds.
To make Babenda, put some sardines. They use dried fish. I have to use tinned fish, and some miso paste in a bowl.
or a food processor, whiz it up, and then add some rice and break that up so that some of the rice particles break up. Then cook the rice, basically. Oh yeah, you can use sombala, which is like a fermented bean, but I also can't get that here for $2.25 per day. Of course, adding spinach, or silver beet in this case, or kale, or yeah, you have some options. This is a really common dish in Burkina Faso, apparently, so I bet my sponsored child eats it sometimes. The lovely result once I had eaten most of it. I still have some saved, I didn't even eat all of it. Well, that was day 1. Day 2. I got up, I made my Daliya. Oh yeah, little sister's birthday. I went to the shop to buy a chocolate bar for my little sister. I asked how much a single egg is. It's 60 cents. And I had a bit of a dilemma because if I spent 60 cents on an egg, I wouldn't be able to afford vinegar to marinate my chicken hearts in for anticuchos. But if I don't get an egg, I won't be able to have my Bosan Tamba Burkina Faso rice bean cakes. They just might not work without the egg. Actually, they might, but eggs sound so much better for making them stick together. I think otherwise they would fall apart. So what did I do? I was actually contemplating putting back one of the chilies. I don't know if that's allowed because I brought them in a $1 bag and I couldn't have brought any less than $1 worth of chilies. Because if I had to put that chili back, I would have very little flavour in my food for the rest of the week. It is in like everything: African sauce, Peruvian salsa, Peruvian marinade, Daliya every morning. Then I went to the butcher shop and they sell eggs, but they don't usually sell a single egg by itself. But when I asked nicely, I love the butcher shop now because they sold me a single egg and it was 30 cents and now I can afford vinegar. Problem solved! Oh, I love chili! With the pricing dilemma solved, I went to my little sister's birthday party. And it was a pool party. They had lots of really good looking food. I'm on a diet. I'm used to not eating food that other people have. But this time I hadn't eaten since breakfast. I thought that maybe I would just stay in the pool while I ate. And then I would be able to entertain myself in the pool rather than just being hungry and miserable. So I was cold, hungry, and miserable. Then I got out of the pool, and I was bored, cold, hungry, and miserable. I got home around 6 o'clock, and then I started reheating my dal. I made this dal before I started to live below the line for today, because I knew that I wouldn't have time to cook. It seemed to take ages to reheat though. I did get a couple of... I feel like I'm honouring both my sponsored children by having this dal in the thing. I didn't use any recipe from Susanto's home state. Used a whole heap of vegetables, which they possibly have because, as I explained, they grow vegetables, but I don't grow that many of the kind of vegetables that would have been in it. I found a great tomato dal recipe from Andhra Pradesh, which is the state I visited, the state Susanto lives in, and also Mantasha because dal is apparently her favourite food. So I made this tomato padu. I know about 5 Telugu words and 3 of them are food related. This is how much dal I've cooked, but this is how much dal I'm going to eat today. So between yesterday's leftovers and this, There's going to come a day when I can have 3 meals. I don't know what day that's going to be, but that's going to be awesome. Dinner, day 2. Half a cup of rice, or it was half a cup before it was cooked. Now it's more like a cup. Some dal. Some sliced carrot. There was more, but I ate some while I was waiting for everything else to cook. And I bought this jar of pickle a while ago for $1. It was on special. So you see how much there would have been in there. If I have a teaspoonful and call that 2 cents worth, is that fair enough? And after I'd made that, I remembered this thing that I'd tried a while ago. I think it's called ranovola, using the burnt or browned bits of rice from the bottom of the pot and boiling water in it, and it makes a kind of a tea. And I think teas were basically invented because they have 2 purposes. They boil the water, get rid of all the bugs that are in the water, and they flavour the water. So not only do you not have all the bugs that are in the dirty river water, you don't have to taste dirty river water, you can taste burnt rice instead. Still today, most people in extreme poverty don't have access to clean water. It's actually nicer than it sounds, although when it cools down to lukewarm temperature it's not as nice as when it's hot. Also today I did have a mint tea. Mint is growing in our garden and it's been there for so long that we've kind of forgotten how much it costs to plant. I might not have been able to afford tea, but who needs actual tea leaf when you have mint and burned rice? On a serious note, thanks to the people who have supported me. You might want to check out this reflection guide that I'll put a link to. It's designed for people doing live below the line, but it shows what the money is going towards, and it's a really worthy cause. If I have my way tomorrow, I'm also going to make a short video clip about that. Keep your eyes peeled because it will probably be quite entertaining. I'm sorry if this clip was a bit boring. Why am I apologizing? You watched all the way to the end.